I'm Soup for Eloise, and this is Soup for Eloise. Today, we're going to be making every single soup in Minecraft. Luckily for me, there's only 4 of them. That's beetroot soup, mushroom stew, rabbit stew, and finally, suspicious stew. Each of these soups can be obtained by either making them, trading with them, or finding them. In this video, I'm going to be making every single one and be ranking them on their ease to make, their taste, and crucially, their slurpability. Today, we're going to get started with mushroom soup. Mushroom stew can either be crafted, or quite uniquely, milked from a mushroom cow. To craft it, it requires a brown mushroom and a red mushroom, both of which can be found in dark forest biomes, swamps, and the mushroom biomes. And if you can ward off those piglins, you can find it in the nether. While not the most appealing looking soup, it'll warm your belly with 6 hunger points. I say I'm doing these all today. For you, it will be all today. I'm not making 4 soups in one day. In real life, making mushroom soup contains a few more ingredients because honestly, just mushrooms in a bowl would be rank. So I'm using a recipe from Jamie Oliver. I don't actually like Jamie Oliver. He took away turkey twizzlers in like 2005, but this recipe looks pretty good and got to use a lot of different mushrooms, which I felt was the closest representation to brown mushrooms and red mushrooms. So we're doing that. The recipe also calls for a red onion, finely diced, chicken stock, some lemon, some garlic, some freshly cut thyme, also a dollop of mascarpone. I, however, am lactose intolerant, so I can't actually eat that, so I've got vegan cream cheese instead. I'm not vegan, I'm just a girl. So we're gonna take our porcini mushrooms, literally just put them in here and leave them to soak. They stink. Ugh. That's probably like a handful. I'm gonna go with that. And apparently we just leave them to soak for like 30 minutes, so perfect. We need to cut up the onions and the garlic first to do that, and also a little bit of thyme. Oh, my eyes. It's fine. I'm brave. Oh man, my eyes. Oh man. 1 handful of fresh thyme. I guess I'm just kind of ripping the stems a bit. I need to go heat up my big pot now, and I'm just gonna put a bit of olive oil in until that is ready to go. So I've heated up some oil and the mushrooms are ready to go in. These don't actually need to be chopped up, they just go in whole because I believe we're gonna blend this up at the end. These are some big mushrooms. I'm gonna go check that they shouldn't have been chopped.
A few moments later.
Okay, update, they needed to be chopped. Wow, voiceover Eloise here. So I went and chopped my mushrooms up before putting them back in, and then was able to add the onions and garlic. Once that was done, I gave it a little mixy mix and threw in the soaked porcini and the stock. And with that, it was time to blend. The recipe actually says to keep half of it unblended, but if you look at the Minecraft soup, there doesn't appear to be any chunks, so I'm just gonna blend the whole thing to try keep it as close to it as possible. It looks like poopy. It looks poopy. We're gonna go ahead and add our parsley and our cream cheese. Okay, so our soup is officially done. While I've been finishing this, I've actually decided that there should be an extra category, which is the closest to Minecraft. So how much does the soup actually look like the one in the game? I'm gonna be honest, guys, it doesn't look nice. It looks unwell, but we're gonna try it. I've got some little ciabattas because I know I could go with a spoon. I like my soup with bread. My thoughts are, I don't want to finish that bowl. Okay, so if we're going on the Minecraft categories, I would say it looks... It's a little bit more brown than the Minecraft one. It's kind of got a pinkish hue in Minecraft. I'd give it a 7. I'd say it's relatively close. Taste-wise, it is nice, but it's definitely not for me. I think it's very rich, and I wouldn't be able to finish that bowl. So I'd probably give it like a 5. Slurpability, she's getting a 0. It is too thick. This is probably my fault. And for that, I would say you definitely can't slurp on it. Ease to make? Well, I broke my camera in the process, and I threw soup on myself. But I would honestly say neither of those are the fault of the soup. That's entirely on me. I'm a very clumsy person. I would say this is pretty easy to make. Honestly, it really does not require that many ingredients. And so I would say it's a very easy recipe to make. So for that, I would probably give it like a 9, which means the total score is... We've not started off super strong for our first soup, with a combined total of 21 points out of 40. But with that, it's time to move on to our next soup, beetroot soup. Hopefully this one's better. Beetroot soup can be obtained in Minecraft in 2 ways. This is either by making it using beetroots or by finding it in a village. However, it can only be found in the snowy villages. Here's me waiting a million years for my beetroots to grow. Something about a watch pot never boils, a stared at beetroot never grows. It's one of the lower saturation soups as it only restores 6 hunger points and 7.2 saturation. Will it be super filling in real life? This is technically the only one that in-game is called a soup. The rest are stews. I'm counting them as the same thing for this, because otherwise, soup for Eloise makes soup and stews for Eloise doesn't sound as good. We've got some sourdough that I'm gonna cut up, maybe to make some croutons or just to have with the soup, some shallot, some garlic, and some stock. And that's pretty much it. It is a very, very simple recipe. Oh, they are fragrant. Oh, I was meant to put gloves on. I'm intrigued to know how this soup is gonna taste. It has very few ingredients that aren't just beetroot. Our shallots are done. God, I love doing that to a garlic. We need to let the garlics and the shallots fry for a little bit just so that they get a little bit softer. And then we just throw the beetroot in for a while to cook. It didn't give any indication as to whether I needed to cut them smaller than this. Apparently I just leave this to cook now for about 15 minutes and then we'll boil the kettle and we'll put in the stock. This is then just gonna sit for another 20 minutes. Once that's then done, we will literally just blend it and it'll be done. It's officially time to try our beetroot soup. So I'm just gonna plate up. I've made my little croutons. I'm just keeping them in the oven so they stay warm and then I'll pop them in at the end. This was really hard to blend. Like I actually had to cook this for about 20 minutes longer than it suggested because the beetroot was just not done. I think I chopped it too like chunky. It is officially time. I have my spoon at the ready. I'm ready to try this beetroot soup. Oh, okay. I'm pleasantly surprised. Okay, maybe I just like bread. I'm gonna try it for slurp. Okay. So for the ease to make, we are again getting a 9. It was very easy to do. You just chop and you boil. Actually, to be honest, we may even go for a 10. I didn't need to add creme fraiche. I didn't even really need to chop up any like herbs or things like that. So I would say honestly like a 10 for ease. It was so easy. Taste, we are going better than the mushrooms, but it's really nice. It's a solid 7. With the croutons, when you add the croutons in, it's easily an 8. For likeness to Minecraft, it does not get more like Minecraft than this, but I really do think it's about a 9. And finally, I would say for slurpability, let's give it another go. It's slurpable. You get a solid slurp sound, which is what you want from a soup. So I'm giving that one a 9. It's honestly, this is a high score. I did not think this would be like so high scoring, but it's pleasantly surprised me as soups go. So beetroot soup is absolutely knocked mushroom soup out of the park, only dropping 4 points in total to give it a total of 36 out of 40. It's time to see if rabbit stew can hop over this achievement and score even higher. Like beetroot soup, rabbit stew can either be made or traded for, specifically with the butcher villager for 1 emerald. That's cheap as chips. It requires the most ingredients of all the soups and ultimately requires you to kill a rabbit, which makes you evil. Fortunately, it pays off by offering 10 hunger points, which is half of the hunger bar. You might be evil, but you won't go hungry. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not actually cooking rabbit. The only way I could get rabbit is if I ordered an entire rabbit online, and I can't chop up a rabbit. So I looked up online what the closest thing was, and apparently it is chicken thigh. Chicken thigh is apparently the closest in texture and meat to what rabbit is. So we're gonna be cooking with that instead. You're not gonna ask me to cut up Miffy, are you? You wouldn't do that, would you? You need a cooked potato, a cooked rabbit, a bowl, a brown mushroom, I think red mushroom might work, and a carrot as well. Now the recipe that I'll be cooking with today actually did call for carrots, but didn't put them on the ingredients list. It also didn't call for any potatoes in the recipe, but I am gonna be adding potato, not just because it's in the Minecraft one, but because the rest of these I've done some kind of bread with them. Instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop up some potatoes and roast them in the oven, and then we can kind of just have those on the side. Okay, so for this, we need an onion. I'm just using a shallot because it's yummy. It also called for a pale ale. I don't like ale, it's yucky. But I'm trusting the process. Okay. I don't like celery at all. People who eat this with peanut butter, I think you're a freak. So I have had time now to let the chicken brown. So I'm gonna go throw in our onions, etc. So the original recipe calls for a full pint of pale ale. Obviously I have not used anywhere near as much meat, so I am probably going to just, I think, pour out maybe 150, 200 ml of this. God, that looks like fizzy pea. Should I have a sip from... It's not nice, loves. What we're gonna go do is I've lowered the heat so that we can put our liquids in so they don't splatter back up in my face, because that would be nasty. Oh yeah. While our soup bubbles away, if you're this far into the video and enjoying it, then you should definitely subscribe. I've got another really fun video coming out soon, and I will let you have a sip of the soups I've made. Maybe they might have gone off by that point. Our soup is done. It's definitely more of a stew than it is a soup, I would say. Yeah, that's good. That is so good. Oh my God. Okay, I guess we got to test our slurpability. Now, this is a chunky soup, so I guess I'm just going to test, like, the actual liquid. I mean, the liquid itself obviously is. I would say, for closest to Minecraft, if we were going off, like, the full recipe, it did have carrots, it did have the potato that, I mean, I've added that in. But I couldn't get hold of rabbit. And because rabbit is quite difficult to get hold of, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna bring that down to about a 5. Actually, that's quite harsh. Probably a 6. Slurpability, we're going for a 6 again. You have chunks. It's a chunky soup. For ease to make, I'm going with 3 because I had to substitute the meat because I could not find it. I could not find an accessible way of getting it, and also because I didn't want to eat a rabbit. Taste-wise, this is a 10. It's really yummy. It's very rich, but not overpowering. It's really good. I'm gonna go eat this now, because it's really yummy. Despite definitely being my favorite so far, rabbit stew has scored only fairly well, just peaking into the high 20s with 29 out of 40. There is now only one chance left to crown the best soup of Minecraft. Can our suspicious stew take it off the grubby mitts of beetroot soup? Our final soup, Suspicious Stew, can be obtained in a bunch of ways. It can be found in shipwrecks or in the suspicious sand in desert wells. Alternatively, it can be bought with emeralds if trading with an expert-level farmer villager. And finally, of course, you can make it. This can be done just by adding a flower into the recipe for a mushroom soup. The flower you use determines the effect the soup will have. Dandelion, which is the flower we're cooking with today, will give you the saturation effect, so you're fuller for longer. Now, for this recipe, despite the fact that in the game you need your mushroom base, we do not need any of that. We have our dandelions, of course. It asked for a shallot, so we've got one of those. We've got a lemon, a little bit of potato. I am actually cutting down this recipe size because it called for a lot more dandelions than I actually bought. Oh, and some parsley. I feel like Suspicious Stew is one of those things where, like, early game, it's probably quite a good option if you need certain potion effects. By the time you're, like, anything towards mid-game, they kind of become redundant. They don't last as long as potions do. You're just kind of not going to use them. These just go into sizzle in a minute, and we're going to move over onto the hob. Easy peasy. We're going to go ahead and throw in our potato and parsley because this is basically ready now, and we're going to just fry those off for a couple minutes. It is officially dandelion time. So I'm going to go throw them into the pot, and then about a few minutes after that, the soup is pretty much ready, apparently. I'm hoping they shrink down like spinach, because right now they're just massive in there. But I'm gonna let it cool for a second so that I don't have boiling water splatter in my face, but then we're gonna go blend it, and then she's done. This has definitely been the fastest soup so far. It's been very, very quick to make. You're only gonna see like 5 seconds of this, but this process took me literally 15 minutes and quadrupled the muscle size in my arms. I'm giving up. I cannot get it to be more... I can't get it to chop up any more than this. We are officially ready to taste test this one. I will say, this was horrendous to blend. The dandelions just kept getting stuck, like the stems. I even had to go in with some scissors at one point because they just did not want to chop up. It also says to add like a dollop of cream cheese. Now, again, this is vegan cream cheese, and I don't actually think it melts super well. I'm not eating that. That is so awful. Why is that? That's awful. It's so bitter. That is horrible. Okay, I guess we're gonna do the rankings. First up, taste, 0. If I could give it a negative, I would. That is horrible. I can't believe that. Ease to make, I'm actually gonna have to give that a 5. The initial recipe was fine, but this was so hard to blend. This was the longest time it's taken me to blend one. Likeness to Minecraft, it's got flowers in it, but in Minecraft you use mushrooms, so I would probably say like a 3. Actually, yeah, also in the game, you put the whole flour in the soup. In this, you're only using the leaves, so I would give it a 3. And finally, slurpability, we are also gonna have to go with a 0. It's similar to the beetroot, even a little bit thinner than that, so I would say probably it would be like a 7, but that's a guess because I physically cannot make myself slurp that. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever tried, and what a way to end the video. I will say now that my personal favorite was definitely the rabbit stew. Obviously I used chicken and not rabbit, but I would say it was very, very nice. It was a really good soup. Second, I would say the beetroot, just because it was bland, but there was something to work with there. Then the mushroom, because I just felt it was too rich. And then this one. This one, I would put every other soup above this in the whole wide world, and this would be at the bottom of that list. But that's just counting on my own personal preference. So with beetroot ranking the highest, that is officially the end of our video. And I will say it is technically the best soup in Minecraft, though taste-wise, I would definitely say it's the rabbit stew. Thank you for watching today. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. I've got another really, really fun Minecraft video that's kind of playing with real life coming out, hopefully in the next month, that I'm putting a lot of work into. And I think if you guys enjoyed this video, you'll absolutely love it. So yeah, bye.